Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Captain Britain Omnibus, which came out in April, I believe, but I just finished reading it. So, without further ado, let's take a look at this book. Here is the front of the book, and I went with that cover because I've always preferred the classic Captain Britain outfit as opposed to the one that we see later on in the Excalibur. Here is the spine of the book, a nice one, also featuring that classic look. And here is the back of the book. For Queen, Country, and Otherworld, it says. Okay, and as you can tell, this is a chunkier omnibus. It's a thick one, so bear with me as we go through the material that it collects, because this collects material from Captain Britain, number 1 through 39, Super Spider-Man and Captain Britain, number 231 to 247, Hulk comic, number 1, no number 2, but then number 3 through 46, Incredible Hulk Weekly, number 47 through 55, and 57 through 63, Marvel Superheroes, number 377 to 388, Daredevils, number 1 through 11, Mighty World of Marvel, number 7 through 16, Captain Britain, number 1 through 14, Captain Britain, number 1 through 14, Marvel Tales, number 131 to 133, Marvel Team Up, number 65 through 66, New Mutants, annual number 2, X-Men, annual number 11, and as you can tell, this has a lot of extra material that the first printing of this omnibus does not have. So the reason that I decided to pick up this book was because, first of all, Excalibur is one of my favorite comic series of all time, and while Captain Britain may be my least favorite on that team, he's still on the team and a big part of that run, so I was hoping this book would give me some additional insight on him, and maybe I'd end up appreciating him a little bit more. The second reason I picked this up was because I'm a huge Betsy Braddock fan, and if you didn't know, Brian Braddock, this run's iteration of Captain Britain, is her twin brother. Alright, so with that preface out of the way, what is this book and is it worth picking up? So let's first go over the origin of this Captain Britain. Brian was a nuclear physics student that was interning at a laboratory that is then attacked by a bad guy who, goes on to try to kill everybody there, but fortunately, Brian gets away on his motorcycle, and unfortunately, he gets in a crash and dies, but is brought back as Captain Britain by Merlyn and Roma, and that's the bare-bones version of how he came to be the superhero representative of the UK. And there's pretty simple new hero exploration stuff after that for a while, though it is Chris Claremont writing the initial issues, and I really enjoy his writing style, obviously, if you know this channel. For as old as it is, I found it very easily consumable. There are fun short stories that aren't too thematically deep, but actually do a very good job of fleshing out Brian's world and the cast of characters that inhabit it. I should warn you, at a certain point in this book, it wasn't selling too well, and they wanted to cut some costs, so they cut what I always thought was a pretty important aspect of most comic books, the color. Not to say there aren't successful black and white comics that don't have color in them, but it's about intent, I think, and it seems the intent was clear that this was meant to be in color. So do I recommend this book? Well, it depends, really. If you're someone who's interested in a little bit more about X-Men lore, while he isn't explicitly a mutant, his sister is a mutant, and his brother is a mutant, and Captain Britain does show up now and then in the Uncanny X-Men run and other mutant titles, so he's kind of just intrinsically tied to them, and then of course Excalibur, where he's on a team of entirely mutant characters. So if you want to learn more about him because of that, then yeah, this is worth picking up. There's some fun stories in here, and there are some that drag their feet a little bit, but not too bad, I think, as far as older comics go. Another reason to pick this up, and you might think this is a weird place for all of this stuff to sort of begin, but the Captain Britain series here is actually kind of the foundational point of sort of actually explicitly stating things and creating rules about the Marvel multiverse. And that is because we get the introduction of, Otherworld in here, and we get the introduction of Saturnine, who, if you also, read X-Men books and are reading current-day X-Men books, just played a big role in X of Swords, and as you know, the current Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock and Rachel Summers, are in the series Knights of X. They're trapped in Otherworld right now, so there's some good stuff you can sort of extrapolate from here and apply to your modern day reading too, if you're somebody who enjoys doing that like I do. This book at points also has that kind of zany vibe that I really enjoyed from the original Excalibur series, so if you're looking for sort of the pulse of where that comes from, then this is kind of that, and you might enjoy it for that reason. Though that stuff is kind of later on in the omnibus, so there's some slow stuff you'll have to get through first to get there. You essentially have to eat your Captain Britain vegetables before you get to your Captain Britain dessert. The Alan Davis stories that are collected in here are also amazing and some of my favorite moments of the omnibus, and the artwork that is paired with that is equally exceptional. This book at times is just a visual feast, and I think you will enjoy it even for that reason if you do not enjoy the stories of it. So yeah, I know I've basically already said it, but the real meat of this omnibus and the real stories that are truly worth reading and are really exceptional are the ones in the later half of this book. So even if you maybe wanted to skip some of the more Silver Agey beginning stuff, you could go to the stuff in the back and start really enjoying that book, because I don't think you're going to miss too much that isn't rehashed in some way or some form in either Excalibur or in the later half of this omnibus too. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have read this book or if you're planning on picking it up. If you have read it, let me know if you've enjoyed it. And thank you, and have a great rest of your day.